Look at this. This is a tiny piece of plastic no bigger than your fingernail. It weighs less than half a gram and costs less than a casual dinner out, and it can instantly hold 1 terabyte of data. 10 years ago, you could slide this directly into almost any premium smartphone on earth and instantly double, triple, or quadruple your storage. Today, if you try to find an SD card slot on a modern flagship phone from Apple, Samsung, or Google, it's completely gone. Most people will tell you that tech companies killed this little card out of pure, unadulterated corporate greed. But if you look beneath the surface and dismantle the actual engineering hidden inside these devices, you realize the truth is far more calculated, far more brilliant, and way more dangerous to your wallets than simple greed. The systematic execution of the microSD card is easily one of the most masterful pivots in the history of modern consumer tech. It is a textbook masterclass in how hardware companies can wrap a massive financial upgrade inside a perfectly logical engineering excuse. So today, we are breaking down the 3 invisible layers behind this shift: the devastating technical bottleneck that threatened the stability of your phone, the mind-boggling profit architecture of the storage upsell, and the structural space war happening inside the phone chassis itself. Let's start with the technical baseline, because to understand why engineers completely turned their backs on expandable storage, we have to talk about a massive performance illusion. When you look at an SD card packaging, it might proudly boast speeds of 160 megabytes per second. To the average consumer, that sounds blistering fast. But inside the core architecture of your smartphone, that speed is an absolute crawl. You see, modern smartphones run on an incredibly advanced standard storage called UFS, or Universal Flash Storage. If you are using a modern device, it is likely running UFS 3.1 or the bleeding edge UFS 4.0 storage array. To put this in perspective, UFS 4.0 doesn't read data at 100 megabytes per second. It reads data at over 4,200 megabytes per second. Its sequential write speeds smash past 2,800 megabytes per second. We are talking about a performance gulf where your phone's internal storage is literally 30 to 40 times faster than the fastest mainstream microSD card you can buy in the market. And that 30 times speed difference is where the entire user experience began to implode. Think about what happens when you open a heavy app, record an uncompressed RAW photo, or shoot a high bitrate 4K or 8K video. Your phone's processor needs to dump massive streams of data into storage instantly. Back when Android allowed the users to format microSD cards as adaptable storage, meaning the operating system treated the card exactly like internal memory, consumers started installing core applications directly onto their cheap, sluggish, expandable cards. Imagine a scenario where a user walks into a local shop, buys an ultra-low-tier $5 SD card from a discount bin, and slides it into a $1,000 flagship phone, and tries to launch a graphically intensive mobile game or writes a heavy 4K video file streamed directly into it. The bus speeds choke, the random read and write operations hit an absolute brick wall. The application stutters, freezes for 7 seconds, and then violently crashes with an app not responding error screen. But here is the psychological catch that drove smartphone product managers completely insane. When that app crashed, the consumer didn't wake up and say, "Wow, I bought a terrible, slow accessory card." No, they looked at their phone, got completely frustrated, and said, "This one is a piece of garbage. The operating system is laggy and the device is unstable." By completely removing the physical SD card slots, tech giants instantly eliminated a massive, uncontrollable variable from their hardware ecosystem. They clawed back absolute control over their device performance, slashed customer support tickets by tens of thousands of units globally, and ensured that the storage speed baseline would always match the speed of their processing silicon. It was an engineering defense mechanism disguised as a hardware deletion. But let's be entirely real for a second. If this was purely about protecting users from slow performance, tech companies could have easily solved it by locking app installations to internal memory while keeping the SD card slots open strictly for photos, music, and media. But they didn't do that. They chose total extinction, And to understand why, we have to look past the engineering lab and peer directly into the corporate finance ledger. You see, when you look at the economics of the smartphone supply chain, removing the SD card is arguably the most profitable hardware decision ever made. Let's trace the retail pricing strategy of a flagship smartphone line. Take a look at a mainstream premium release cycle, like when Samsung definitively removed expandable storage across the board on the flagship Galaxy S21 tier. If you walk onto a web store to buy a base model phone, it usually comes packaged with 128 gig of internal storage. But if you're a power user who shoots content, edits files, or downloads heavy data sets, you know that 128 gig is going to fill up in less than 6 months. So, you click the drop-down menu and select the 256 or 512 gigabyte model. At checkout, that single mouse click adds an extra $100 or $200 to your final bill. Now, let's look at this from an industry perspective. How much does that extra 128 gigabytes of flash memory actually cost a company to buy on the wholesale component market? Thanks to the massive global economies of scale in semiconductor fabrication plants, the physical difference in manufacturing cost between a 128 gigabyte NAND flash chip and a 256 gigabyte NAND flash chip is astonishingly minimal. We're talking about a physical bill of materials cost delta of roughly $10 to $15. Think about those metrics for a second. It costs the manufacturer roughly $15 to upscale the storage chip on the main board, but they charge you, the consumer, an extra $100 minimum for the privilege. That means the flash storage upgrade layer operates at an absolute minimum of an 85% gross profit margin. In the cutthroat world of hardware manufacturing, where companies fight tooth and nail over 0.5% margins on glass, aluminum, and camera sensors, the storage tier jump is pure financial alchemy. By killing the $20 external SD card option, tech companies forced every consumer onto an internal luxury pricing ladder where they extract billions of dollars in highly inflated upfront margins. But capturing a massive one-time hardware markup at checkout is only the first phase of the trap. Modern technology conglomerates don't just want a high-margin transaction once every 2 or 3 years when you upgrade your physical device. Wall Street demands predictable, scalable, and recurring revenue streams. They want software as a service. And this is where the death of physical expandable storage acts as the primary acquisition funnel for the ultimate corporate ecosystem trap: cloud lock-in. By capping your physical device storage and cutting off the physical escape valve of a cheap microSD card, companies build an invisible wall around your user behavior. They create intentional, unavoidable structural scarcity. You see, eventually, no matter how aggressively you delete old apps or clear your caches, you will inevitably hit that storage ceiling. And right when your phone is at its most vulnerable, a very elegant, frictionless system notification slides down from the top of your screen. Storage full. Upgrade your cloud plan for just $2 a month to keep your memories safe. You might think it's completely harmless, and just $2. It's the price of half a cup of coffee. But from a structural platform perspective, you have just stepped into a high-yield subscription pipeline. Whether it's Google One, Apple iCloud, or Microsoft OneDrive, these cloud systems operate at massive scale with gross margins that routinely hover above 70 to 80%. But the real magic isn't the margin, it's the churn rate. Once you accumulate 200, 500, or 1,000 gigabytes of personal data, family photos, work documents, and system backups across 5 or 6 years, seamlessly integrated into that specific cloud ecosystem, the friction of trying to migrate that data to a competitor becomes completely overwhelming. You're no longer just a hardware customer who bought a phone. You are a permanent, recurring revenue stream locked into a digital ecosystem with an incredibly low probability of ever canceling your subscription. The removal of a 20-cent card slot successfully transformed millions of casual hardware buyers into lifelong subscription assets. Now, if we play devil's advocate for the industrial designers, We have to admit that there is one final brutal reality of mechanical engineering that made the SD card slot completely non-viable for the future of mobile design. The inside of a modern flagship smartphone is an absolute war zone, where every single cubic millimeter is a matter of life and death for product features. Over the past years, consumers have continuously demanded features that are completely glutinous when it comes to internal physical space. We want massive camera sensors with literal physical periscope glass prisms that slide back and forth to give us optical zoom. We want complex multi-band 5G antenna arrays to pull down gigabyte data speeds. We want massive hyper-precise haptic vibration motors, dense vapor cooling chambers to stop chips from overheating during heavy gaming sessions, and wireless charging coils. Come on. That's a lot. An external microSD card slot looks small from the outside, but its internal footprint on the circuit board is surprisingly massive. It doesn't just require the thickness of the card itself, it requires a rigid metal shield assembly, a spring-loaded mechanical latch mechanism to eject the tray, a dedicated data controller bus routed across the main board, and extensive structural rubber gasket barriers to ensure the device maintains an IPC6 dust and water resistance rating. Every physical puncture through an aluminum or titanium frame creates a structural weak point and an entry vector for liquid failure. So you see, when smartphone engineering teams sit down with the data and realize that less than 5% of their actual premium user base ever inserts an external SD card, but 100% of their user base demands a battery that lasts through an entire day of heavy usage, the engineering trade-off becomes incredibly simple. They rip out the physical card reader assembly and use that exact reclaimed volume to pack in a physically larger, denser battery cell or a superior camera sensor. From a pure product optimization standpoint, the mechanical slot simply lost its right to exist inside the chassis. So, when you look at the big picture, the death of the SD card wasn't just an accident, and it wasn't a random act of corporate malice. It was a flawless convergence of three distinct forces: an engineering necessity to protect the operating system from slow, unstable hardware accessories, an industrial design requirement to reclaim precious space for batteries and advanced camera optics, and a brilliant corporate finance blueprint designed to extract highly inflated storage margins at checkout and secure high-margin cloud subscriptions for life. It is a fascinating cutthroat reminder that in the technology industry, sometimes the subtraction of a classic feature is the most profitable addition a company can ever make to its bottom line. But I want to hear your raw thoughts on this. Drop a comment below. Did you actively fight against this change? Or did you quietly give up, pay the upfront storage tax, and sign up for a cloud subscription plan? If you love high-level tactical breakdowns of the business frameworks and engineering decisions shaping the world of consumer technology, make sure to smash that subscribe button right now. My name is Josh, and I've been your host on Tech Mansion today, and I'll catch you in the very next video.